Welcome, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube video. You are here with your GBHL host, GBHL James.
GBHL Jamie, and we're doing an unboxing, which feels like a very long time ago we did an unboxing. And it's going to be Druhzag the Beastcaller.
The last time we did an unboxing was when the gorgeous Edward Ball gave us Radagast on Slay. And that was during the tournament. That must be the last unboxing.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Unbelievable. That feels like ages ago.
It was 12th and 13th of April, wasn't it?
There's been lots of reasons.
A month ago.
Lots of reasons why we haven't felt the need to do unboxings. Most of that is to do with our roving reporter, Damien O'Byrne, who filled up our content for such a long period of time, which we would like to thank him for.
Thank you, Damien.
Thank you, Damien. But now, as content starts to look thin, we have to get to work again.
We have to find some models to open up.
That's right, that's right. So we are unboxing
Druhzag the Beastcaller. Ooh, he's a goblin that I quite like.
I've come up against him a couple of times.
Yeah, he's a pain to play against, isn't he?
Yes.
It's not him, it's more the things around him that kill you.
That's what we're going to talk about. As always with the unboxings, we're going to take it out, we're going to have a little bit of a look at the model, what we actually think about the model itself, you know, etc. And then we're going to talk through his rules and our own experiences of him.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing as a goblin, from time to time,
I've used him quite a lot. Yeah.
You've used him quite a lot, there you go.
And to very good effect as well. Right, so let's crack into him. He's one of the old Blister Lord of the Rings packs.
Yeah, you want to only see art production now?
I'm not too sure, you know. I've not checked. But I picked him up for £5 off Darren, who I didn't think quite realised he was metal, to be honest. Sorry, Darren. So
we haven't done that much. He's just glad to get rid of him.
Yeah, he's cleared the space. Yes. So he's not going to walk in, is he?
We love you, Darren.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are in the Northwest Gaming Centre as we speak.
Yeah.
And it feels like ages since we filmed here.
It's been a long time as well.
I think we've just stayed away from it since the tournament because it brings back such good memories that we would both cry.
If we had to be here without.
To Druhzag.
Yes, well, do you have a look at his models?
I'll have a little look at his model. So, now this is the interesting bit. So, you've got, obviously he's quite shamanistic because he's a kind of shaman.
He's a beast shaman. Druhzag is vile even by standards of other goblins apparently, and he's been exiled. So he takes up like solace with sort of bats and wargs and spiders, and he becomes their sort of leader, as it were. Now
he's quite a basic model. There's not a ton of detail on him. Obviously, he's quite a small model. He's in a very interesting pose. The main draw of this guy to look at is his staff, because on top of his staff, he's got
a dwarf's head with beard still intact. But we can't see it very well there.
Yeah, we got it just about. There we go. Okay, so I do recommend that if you do have the Heroes of Moria, Moria and Angmar sourcebook, that you
be looking along as well,
or go on the Games Workshop website and have a little look.
Yeah.
So the model itself is quite simple.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice bit of detail with the dwarf head, but just a simple metal model. Nothing spectacular about it.
It's got a blade. It's got a little knife poking out of him.
Yeah, so he can feint.
Or he can bash.
But the weird bit, the bit which is probably, I would say, the controversial thing about the look of it.
Yes.
From my Lord of the Rings point of view, is this part.
The bats flying around him.
The bats flying around him, and that is quite Warhammer and fantasy-ish.
Yes. That's probably to do with the fact that he is sort of like Lord of the Bats, essentially. He's Batman.
Batman. Yeah. It's because I'm Batman.
So
the order government deserves.
So normally it would be stuck on like so. So he'd face he'd be facing the small side of the base.
Right, okay.
And that gives you the base at the back to then put his bats on. However, a lot of people don't like the bats, so use him without, just like I do.
Now, an interesting question I have, it might be interesting, might not, is if he's got his bats, and he is behind something, but his bats are extended out, does that mean you have line of sight to him?
We asked this when the model was originally released to Simon Grant, the sort of tournament organiser, FAQ man, and he said no, the bats are just, scenery, essentially.
Now, one thing that I would probably do, if I was a goblin, would be to put that on a separate base and say that was a bat swarm.
Yeah, that's what everyone does.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a genius.
Or you just follow the crowd.
Yeah.
So yeah, these actually get used as bat swarms, and we asked, is that okay? Because these are bats produced by Games Workshop, and they are albeit a little bit thinner than the bat swarms, but they're the same height roughly, and they're bats. There's a swarm of bats, and they said, yeah, by all means, go ahead.
That's really good.
So if you do buy it, you essentially get two models in one,
which is really good. So you pay £2.50 for a bat swarm.
You get the shaman, and you get the bats that you want him with. to be the bat swarm that you can use to attack things.
And I think that's definitely probably the best thing to do with this model, so that it doesn't look too fancy-ish. But it is a Games Workshop creation. Druhzag isn't a Tolkien creation.
No.
So, and you can really see that, especially I think in the Mori and Angmar book, that things like Kardush.
Oh yes, yeah.
There's quite a few of those models that have been invented, and they've tried to kind of spice it up a bit, and there has definitely been that kind of Warhammer fantasy element to it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about his profile and what he does.
His profile is exactly the same as a regular Goblin Shaman. So fight. Well, actually no, he's fight 3. He's a bit more of a fighty Goblin. I guess that's from.
And that's not bad if you couple him with a bat swarm.
Take on fight 6 heroes, potentially.
Not that that's probably what you want to do.
No, you don't really want to be in combat. He's strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 2 wounds, courage 4, which is a nice change, quite good courage, 2 might, 5 will, and 2 fate. So he is better than your average shaman. He's got the extra might point, the extra fate point, and 2 extra will.
And that's because the main attraction of this guy isn't necessarily just his profile on that side, or his war gear. It is his special rules.
Yeah. So special rules. He's got Cave Dweller like every goblin. That's the +1 on the jump and climb table. He has a special rule called Masters of the Dark Wild. Now all bats, wargs, and spiders within 12 inches use his courage value of 4.
That's good. That's really good.
For charging, terrifying, terror-causing heroes, being courage 4 is a real bonus rather than usually courage 2. But his magic powers are the ones that really sell him as a hero.
I'm guessing that Master of the Dark Wild could be quite handy if you have things mounted on wargs, etc., and the wargs are looking to stick around.
Yes, yeah. One of his things is he doesn't have Fury or Transfix like most shamans. He has one called Bestial Fury, which is a unique spell to him. So that's Fury. It applies only to unridden wargs, spiders, and bat swarms. Not goblins, it says.
And it's a 5+ Fury save, or is it a 6+ Fury save?
It's a 6+ Fury save that can't be channeled, because it's a unique spell.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And it's 3+ to cast.
Yeah, 3+ to cast, and it's great for, obviously, his next spell. I'll show you what that does. But there's been theorised you could take a mounted warg force, cast Bestial Fury, dismount, and you've essentially doubled the number of models you have.
Yeah.
So let's say you're playing high ground, and it's the end of the game. Like this is going to be the last turn probably. You get your warg riders on, dismount, and you've then effectively doubled the amount of victory points you just scored.
Yep.
So.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Could be quite good in combination with an Azog's Hunters list, maybe.
Yes, yeah. Keep your fell wargs, and then you can just go off and do what they need to do.
Yeah, fell wargs,
and then you've got your 2 attack guys. Yeah. But the real sort of kicker for this guy is his Enrage Beast spell. Now, this is range 12 inches. It can be cast on any friendly spider, warg, unridden, and bat. Now, what this does, it's a 3+ to use. It's cast. The target model gains +3 strength, +3 fight value, +3 attacks, and +3 courage. So, obviously, some models immediately spring to mind what's best to use this on. 1, a giant spider, a bat swarm, and the Spider Queen. Spider Queen is horrific when she gets powered up. The downside of this is that at the end of the fight phase, you would suffer a strength 10 hit for being sort of enraged, and so you've worn yourself out essentially. So we use it on multi-wound models, and they can send them up right into sort of top tier hero level.
Now, when I came up against this for the first time, and maybe the only time, maybe I've come up against it twice, was actually versus Damien Grantham at Warganation. And what I was suddenly finding was that he was enraging normal wargs, then suddenly they were competing with Aomer and Erkenbrand, and he was just sending them in, and then I had to kind of heroic strike to make sure I win that, 'cause otherwise...
Well, the regular warg goes to fight 6, so it's better than your Rohan heroes. Strength 7, so it wounds you guys on 4s.
Yeah.
Grim. And 4 attacks, and if you get a trap on that, or even just against Erkenbrand, 3 4s kill him.
Yep.
It's pretty grim.
So pretty grim. So I was finding that I was having to use that might when I didn't want to.
Yeah.
To sort of stay avoid that. So yeah, it was really really interesting to see him, and great fun.
Yeah.
It's been great fun. Go on.
I say I used him for his best effect in. There was a scenario called I can't remember what it was. The Fellowship started in the middle of the board.
Yep.
And you had to get Frodo and I think it's like 4 or 5 members off the board. And I used it was at the World Tournaments. We used Druhzag and a Spider Queen.
Yep.
So if you can imagine, just before Heroic Strike and things came into the game, so you power up the Spider Queen, so she's got Fight 9, 5 attacks basic, 6 on the charge, Strength
knocking down
9, re-rolling all failed wounds. So we enraged her, charged her into, I think it was Boromir Gondor, Heroic combated, kill him, then obviously we're still enraged for that fight phase, charged into Aragorn and Gandalf, killed them both, and sort of that's the threat of the Fellowship gone.
No,
that was...
Now luckily with Heroic Strike, that has made a difference.
It can counter.
And it can counter it. And this was, again, very obvious in the Damien Grantham Warganation game, which was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. And it really did come down to the last turn. I think I'd raced ahead, and then he pipped it back, and he was beating me, I can't remember what it was, 9-5 at the start of the final turn.
Yep.
And I got it back to 9-8. And the final combat was me charging in on the Wild Warg Chieftain, which, if you killed it, you got the 3 points.
Oh, the Warganation Wild Warg?
Yeah, and the Warganation one. And he enraged it with Druhzag.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Aemon's having to Heroic Strike. He has to kill this thing. He has to win.
Yeah.
He has to win the roll-off. He wins the roll-off, just gets just enough to match it, wins the roll-off, and wins me the game. But having to deal with something like that is...
Oh yeah, the Wild Warg Chieftains are a great model to great model to enrage as well, because they got 3 wounds, so they don't mind taking the strength 10 hits.
Yeah.
They become, Fight 8, Strength...
That's right.
Strength 8 as well, or Strength 9?
Strength 9.
Strength 9, yeah, 6 you can't be knocked over with a cavalry model. Yeah, they become grim as well. So there's some really good allies for Druhzag to be. And he's 90 points, so he's a bit expensive for a goblin, but he can put out so much damage.
He buffs a lot of other units.
Yeah.
He buffs a lot of other units, and
very,
very popular for goblin players.
Yes, very good. He's got 2 might as well, so he can benefit the force as well as casting. And arguably his best things to enrage are the bat swarms, or putting something in that goes above Fight 6.
Yep.
And putting a bat swarm in with them. An enraged bat swarm, if you think about it, is Fight 4, so okay, not the best, but you're halving your opponents. They need to be at least Fight 10 to drop it down, because you halve rounding down with a bat swarm. You get Strength 6, not bad. 4 attacks, again, not bad. And all of them, if they're within 12 inches of Druhzag, become Courage 7, because you get +3 Courage on top of his, so it's only going to be a double 1 that stops them charging into something terrifying.
Yeah.
So, pretty grim when he...
Some pretty good combinations there for the goblin players. I'm pretty sure lots of you guys out there have got experience of Druhzag and see him in action, so maybe comment below and tell us your stories. This has been GBHL James.
And GBHL Jamie with our unboxing of Druhzag.
Make sure you comment, like, share and subscribe.
Support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy battle gaming.